In a daze, I seemed to find myself in a hospital room.
Wem was half lying on the bed, holding Elena, while Dad was by my side, everything serene and beautiful. Till the moment I cried out from the cradle.
Mom's expression changed abruptly. She carefully shielded Elena's ears and whispered to Dad.
"Take him out, please."
Dad quickly complied, and as the door closed, Mom lowered her head to kiss Elena's forehead, soothing her gently.
And her actions and words was a tenderness had never received from her.
Elena and I are twins, with her being born just 33 minutes before me.
Look at our precious Elena!
But those 33 minutes made all the difference in Mom's heart between Elena and me.
From the womb, I knew you were ungrateful.
Growing up, Elena and I had the same face, wore the same clothes, and almost everyone would mistake us for each other.
Except for Mom.
This is my precious Elena.
At 4 years old, I didn't understand what precious meant, only envying the kisses my sister received on her cheeks.
Oh, I mimicked my sister, hugging Mom's leg tightly.
What are you doing? Let go, I can't walk.
Later, I asked Dad and Mom why they didn't hold me.
Mom isn't strong enough to hold both of you.
I believed him, and for a long time, I didn't eat the snacks given out by the kindergarten teacher.
UST so Mom could lift me up.
I didn't freeze to death. Although I woke up in a hospital room, the pain from every part of my body told me I wasn't gone.
The cleaning lady brought you here. Do you need to call the police?
I blinked and saw the red marks on my wrist. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. I knew very well how many unsightly marks were hidden under the hospital gown. And last night, I didn't even have a hospital gown. My eyes stung, but I couldn't cry anymore.
Yes, please, help me.
The nurse left an iPad for me when she went out. I stared at the screen for a while and finally opened Weibo. When I typed Elena in the search bar, the first trending topic was hashtag Elena late to birthday party by half an hour hashtag. Late? She walked so fast, how could she be late?
I'm very sorry to keep everyone waiting. I'm very grateful that everyone could come to my birthday party, but actually, today is not only my birthday, it's also my twin sister Ethan's birthday. But for some reason, she hasn't arrived yet. Today is my first birthday party since my debut, and I think it's very important. I wanted to spend it with my fans and family, so I waited until now. I'm really sorry for the delay.
As she spoke, her eyes turned red, as if she genuinely regretted it. She was a born actress. The year we transitioned from middle school to high school, Adrian's study abroad application was approved. Unfortunately, our family's company faced significant problems and couldn't afford 2 private high school tuitions.
Whoever scored higher on the entrance exam will go to the private school.
I was happy then because I still had a chance to compete. When the entrance exam results came out, I scored over 60 points higher than Elena.
Ethan, you're amazing! With such a good foundation, you'll definitely adapt to high school courses quickly.
I can't do it. I definitely won't be able to keep up with the classes.
I was so excited about my upcoming high school life that I didn't notice the affection Mom had for her. Later, I confronted Mom with the acceptance letter from a regular high school.
Can't you stop being so selfish? Your sister has a weaker foundation and needs a good school and good teachers more.
Ethan, don't make a big deal out of it. If you study hard, you can get into a good university anywhere.
This matter ended with my passive resistance, feeling unimportant. It wasn't until much later that I accidentally found out. Elena's score didn't meet the private school's cutoff. Mom had paid to pull some strings to get her that spot. It was then I realized I did have a chance to compete, but I would never win. I woke up to noise. It wasn't Nurse Fong by my bedside, but Adrian. I turned my head away and reached for the call button.
What do you need?
Get out!
Ethan!
Only then did I notice his shirt buttons were mismatched, and his shoes were on the wrong feet. He must have been startled awake by a call from the police.
Ethan, I feel terrible about what happened to you, but how could you tell the police it was Elena who caused it? Elena is on the rise right now. What you said could have a huge impact on her.
It hadn't even been 24 hours since I was hurt, and his biggest concern was the impact on Elena. Using the last bit of my strength, I pressed the call button. Soon, someone pushed the door open. It was still Nurse Fong, who had helped me call the police that night.
Please, get him out of here.
It seemed like Nurse Fong and Adrian had a bit of a struggle. Finally, I heard his angry voice.
She's your sister. What good does it do you to harm her? Ethan, can't you be a bit more sensible, or else?
Adrian suddenly stopped, probably because he couldn't think of a way to threaten me. As a brother, he had never given me anything, so naturally, he couldn't threaten to take anything away.
Or else I won't consider you my sister anymore.
I silently curled my lips. When had he ever treated me like a sister? When I was 9, the city held a lantern festival. Adrian wanted to take Elena to play. Maybe my envious look was too obvious, so he rarely took me out as well. There were a lot of people that day. Adrian held Elena's hand in one and carried little trinkets he bought along the way in the other. I was jostled by the crowd, my eyes fixed on them, afraid that I would lose sight of them in a blink. But just as I was bumped by someone, they disappeared from my sight. I was stunned and rushed forward for a while, but I couldn't even catch a glimpse of their clothes. I stood there, looking at the people coming and going, and suddenly started crying. That night, I searched for them at the festival for 2 hours. It wasn't until midnight that a traffic officer on duty brought me home, and I saw Adrian coming out of his room in pajamas.
Why are you back so late? Keep it down, don't wake Mom and Elena.
I mimicked my sister, hugging Mom's leg tightly.
What are you doing? Let go, I can't walk.
Later, I asked Dad and Mom why they didn't hold me.
Mom isn't strong enough, that's why.
I believed him, and for a long time, I didn't eat the snacks given out by the kindergarten teacher. Just so Mom could lift me up. As soon as I walked in, Mom's questioning voice echoed through the house.
Mom, Tone, angry Ethan, where have you been messing around again? Do you know your sister risked being called a diva to postpone your birthday party by half an hour yesterday?
It seemed Adrian hadn't told her about my situation yet. I felt nothing, walking past her straight into the house.
Mom, Tone, angry, what kind of attitude is that?
She yanked me back forcefully and threw me onto the back of the sofa, making every wound on my body ache.
Mom, Tone, angry, what have I done to deserve this? What have your sister and brother done to deserve this? Tell me. You've been selfish since you were a child, always thinking only about yourself, never considering others.
Mom had said this countless times. Next, she would probably mention Dad.
Mom, Tone, sad if it weren't for you insisting on having that cake. Your dad wouldn't have had that accident.
She was talking about something that happened when I was 8. Dad encountered a multi-car accident on his way back and didn't survive. Since then, I became the sinner of the family. But only Elena and I knew that it was Elena who wanted the cake. She said Dad loved me the most, and if I asked, he would definitely buy it. But when I asked her to testify, she cried and said I was lying.
Mom, Tone, angry you killed your dad.
Mom had said this outside the hospital room back then, and she still says it now. But back then, I would argue, now, I wouldn't. I quietly watched her, planning to get my things after she finished venting. Adrian and Elena came back at this moment. Adrian reacted the fastest, stepping forward to support our shaky mom.
Adrian, Tone, concerned mom.
Mom leaned on him, tears streaming down.
Mom, Tone, sad, what did I do wrong to give birth to a child like Ethan?
Narrator, Tone, sad, my heart felt like it was run over by a truck, and I murmured, yeah, why did you give birth to me? In those melancholic years, I often asked myself this question but never voiced it out. I was afraid Mom would say, if I had known it was you, I wouldn't have. Now, I finally asked and waited for her reply, like waiting for a final verdict. I hugged Mom's leg tightly, trying to mimic my sister.
What are you doing? Serious, let go, I can't walk.
Later, I asked Dad and Mom why they didn't hold me.
Your mom isn't strong enough.
I believed him. For a long time, I didn't eat the snacks given out by the kindergarten teacher, just so Mom could lift me up. Lying on the bed in the small motel, it was already dark, and people were hurrying home. I stared blankly for a while, then looked back at my reflection in the mirror, expressionless, haggard, with one side of my face swollen. It really hurt. Even though this was the lightest injury on my body, why did it hurt so much? Everything in front of me suddenly felt unreal. I reached out to touch my face and felt tears on my hand. I tried to comfort myself, telling myself I should be used to it by now, but I couldn't stop crying. Like a car with failed brakes, knowing the danger but unable to stop. Until the sun rose, and I received a call from Officer Joe.
Henry said during the interrogation that you voluntarily, with him at the hotel the day before yesterday.
My foggy mind cleared instantly.
He's lying! He's lying!
I understand how you feel. We're doing everything we can, but the hotel's surveillance was damaged that day. Although the external cameras captured you entering and leaving, it's not strong evidence. I called to see if there were any other clues you might have missed.
The surveillance was damaged that day? Could it really be such a coincidence? I remembered how my old phone was taken away as soon as I entered the room and hadn't been seen since. A chill ran through me. My own sister had truly cut off all my escape routes. I didn't know when the call ended. The motel's soundproofing was poor, and I could hear footsteps outside from time to time. But I felt isolated in this cramped room, even breathing was difficult. Until someone knocked on the door, first gently, then more urgently. I dragged my heavy legs to open the door and wasn't surprised to see Adrian.
Elena, Mom is waiting outside. Let's talk somewhere else.
I don't want to go out.
All right, we'll talk here. I'll let Mom in.
I was slightly surprised. He had never been so accommodating before, let alone letting Mom, who was so particular, into such a small motel.
Elena, are you okay?
I lowered my eyes and didn't speak.
Mom and I already know about it, Elena. I'm sorry, I apologize. Henry is a beast.
My eyes flickered, and I noticed his clenched fists.
Elena, she was wrong too.
Elena confessed to you?
That was almost impossible. I knew Elena too well. She was a wolf in sheep's clothing, never revealing her true self until the last moment.
Yes.
I didn't know when Mom had come up behind me. She was very emotional, even holding my hand for once.
Elena was too scared yesterday. After you left, she told us everything. Elena, it was Mom's fault yesterday. It was Mom who let you down.
I had fantasized about Mom crying and apologizing after learning the truth. In my fantasies, I would resolutely and loudly vent my grievances. But when she actually cried in front of me, I was scared. I was afraid it was fake.
Elena, your sister, she just made a mistake.
Those fantasies and fears froze in an instant, and I suddenly understood something.
Elena is your biological sister, and you are twins. She didn't mean to hurt you.
As if to prove something, she hurriedly took out her phone and showed me the last part of the birthday party live stream.
Happy birthday to my sister, Ethan.
On the screen, Mom and Adrian stood on either side of Elena, who was beautifully made up, her eyes smiling like an angel who had wandered into the human world.
See, your sister wished you a happy birthday.
Mom, were you also wishing me a happy birthday at that time?
Mom was stunned for a moment, then quickly responded.
Of course I was wishing you a happy birthday too.
But my birthday was yesterday. Elena was born at 11:31 p.m. I was born 33 minutes later, at 12:04 a.m.
I watched her face freeze instantly.
Haven't you disliked me all these years because I was born 33 minutes later? How could you forget my birthday?
I had birthdays before I turned 8. Dad would take out another cake, carefully place the candles corresponding to my age, and let me make a wish. Although my birthday was only celebrated with Dad, it was truly my own birthday.
Do you know what I think every year when I watch you celebrate Elena's birthday? I also want a birthday. I want to blow out candles. I want to make a real birthday wish.
I screamed hysterically.
But I don't even dare to mention it to you. I'm afraid you'll say again that those 33 minutes of late birth made you suffer. Afraid you'll say again that I'm being unreasonable.
But I didn't want it either. If I could choose, I wouldn't want you to be in pain. I would want to be your first daughter too.
If that were the case, would you love me a little more?
Adrian seemed to call my name once, but there was no follow-up. Probably didn't know what to say. Even I hadn't expected to say so much. The room fell into a dead silence, and I felt the hand holding mine gradually loosen.
So what do you want? Do you have to push Elena to the edge?
It was all fake before. This is my real mom. Even if she knows the truth, I'm still the one to be discarded. I let out a light laugh, the last tear falling from the corner of my eye.
Me? Push Elena to the edge? She's a public figure. How will she?
Mom.
Adrian interrupted Mom with a frown, turning to look at me.
Ethan, Mom didn't mean that. I asked about your case. There's basically no chance of winning. Henry is very experienced in this area, and as a girl, you'll be at a disadvantage.
Brother knows you've been wronged. Elena really knows she was wrong. Now that things haven't blown up, the sooner you go to the police and admit you were willing that night, the less likely this will. Slap. Adrian's head was turned by my slap, and Mom was stunned for a moment too.
Ethan! That's your brother!
Adrian, you disgust me.
Ethan.
Don't call my name.
I glared at him fiercely.
Elena did something wrong. Why should I consider the impact on her? Did any of you consider me? What did I do wrong to be treated as a tool for exchange? How dare you ask me to say that night was voluntary?
Let me tell you, I will never say that, no matter what. It's impossible.
The court date was 3 weeks away. Officer Joe suggested I apply for legal aid.
You should really consider getting legal aid.
But I just couldn't muster the energy. Every day, I sat on this small bed, groggy but unable to sleep. The 2 psychology classes I audited in my sophomore year vaguely told me, I'm not well, I need to seek help. But I counted the people around me carefully and couldn't find anyone to turn to. After I drove Adrian away that day, he didn't give up. My phone was filled with hundreds of his missed calls and unread messages. I didn't look at any of them until the bank sent me a notification of a deposit, 500,000 yuan, all from Adrian's account. What is this? Hush money? How generous. Adrian, although he looks more like Dad, is exactly like Mom on the inside. They both dote on Elena to the core, even if it means going against the law and morality, they would do anything to protect their little princess. When I truly realized this, I thought I would be sad, at least upset, but in reality, I felt nothing. I accepted this fact numbly and clearly. My phone buzzed again, it was Adrian.
Take care of yourself.
I stared at his inexplicable message. My brain, which had been blank for days, took several minutes to process his meaning. The next second, I saw a lot of notifications. Hashtag Elena's studio statement hashtag. I was stunned for a moment and instinctively connected this to Adrian's message. An inexplicable fear slowly crept over me. My hands were shaking when I opened Weibo. The statement from Elena's studio was long. I read it many times before extracting 2 key points. First, Elena was completely unaware of the incident before it happened, and any talk of illicit transactions was baseless. Second, Elena was willing to provide me with legal aid and reserved the right to pursue action against defamation. 2 Weibo posts completely cleared Elena of any involvement and painted her as a magnanimous and tolerant saint.
So the big scandal about Elena from a few days ago was this? Poor Elena.
Elena even wished her a happy birthday at her party, and this woman is just crazy for fame.
Exactly, this woman is just jealous of Elena and wanted to latch onto a big director. But Director Huang didn't give her the resources she wanted.
Wow, this isn't assault. This is consensual. Pure setup. Director Huang is the real victim here, poor Elena.
My psychology teacher once said that some people with psychological issues derive pleasure from self-harm. I didn't understand it then, but now I do. Each of these comments was like a knife stabbing into my heart. But even though it hurt like hell, I couldn't stop reading. Another sleepless night. The online controversy was escalating, and even Elena's die-hard fans had formed an anti-Adrian alliance. They were digging up everything about me, and after discovering that I had secured a spot for graduate school last semester, they launched a massive protest on the university's official social media. It felt like the whole world wanted me gone. So what was the point of my existence? I carefully recalled my short 21 years of life, and apart from the first 8 years, I was never expected, accepted, or loved. My phone kept ringing, over and over again. I glanced at it numbly, and saw that it was Nurse Fong calling. Our last conversation had ended with a transaction record.
Hello? Are you okay?
Before I could answer, she continued.
Don't listen to those people online. They're just keyboard warriors who know nothing. They jump to conclusions and stand on moral high ground to criticize others, but in reality, they are the ones with the worst morals. Adrian, you will win this. You definitely will.
Her tone was cautious yet indignant, like an arrow piercing through the negative emotions that had surrounded me for days.
Really?
Of course! I believe in you, truly, I believe in you.
In that moment, I remembered how my teacher had patted my shoulder with satisfaction after I secured the graduate school spot, saying, "Well done." Someone expected me, someone believed in me. She even repeated believe twice and emphasized that it was true. So it shouldn't be like this. When I got the graduate school spot, I had it all planned out. I would smoothly pursue my graduate studies, graduate successfully, find a suitable job, and have a family of my own. I wanted a smooth life, completely unrelated to my original family. I let out a long breath, like someone who had been stuck in a quagmire and was suddenly rescued.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nurse Fong said she had just arrived in another province for training, otherwise, she would have come to accompany me.
Better not come, it wouldn't be good for you if you got photographed.
Keyboard warriors! Brain-dead fans!
She cursed softly for a while and then reminded me to be careful. I agreed to everything, and as the call ended, I noticed the supermarket had put up bright red decorations. Bright red, very eye-catching. It was then I remembered that the new year was approaching. I hoped there were still law firms that hadn't closed for the holidays. A week and a half before the trial, a set of scandalous photos went viral online. In the photos, I was nearly naked, utterly disgraceful.
Wow, nice body. How about $200 for a night? I don't mind your past at Ethan.
A small red dot appeared on the screen, right on my name. I belatedly touched my mouth and found that my lower lip was bleeding. I forced a bitter smile, closed my phone, and tossed it aside.
Don't think, don't look.
Those were the 6 words Nurse Fong had given me. But it was really hard, especially after those photos were exposed. I could almost recall Henry's sneering face every time I closed my eyes. The hate and pain I had tried to forget for over 10 days suddenly overwhelmed me again. Elena, so arrogant. Henry, with his lecherous eyes and bloated face. And finally, me, priced like livestock. I remember the room's light was a glaring incandescent bulb, illuminating the heavy, writhing body on top of me clearly. In that drafty storage room, as fine snowflakes drifted in from the window and landed on me, I seemed to see Dad. I said, "I miss you so much." On the 29th of the lunar year, the hotel owner came to me, asking me to move out.
You need to move out.
I glanced out the window at the media camped out for 3 days and the angry fans protesting, and nodded. Before I left, I heard complaints.
The room she stayed in needs to be thoroughly disinfected. Dad, you shouldn't have let her stay here. What she did was disgusting.
I unconsciously tightened my grip on my bag's shoulder strap and quickened my pace. The festive atmosphere on the street was strong, with snow having fallen all day. I was fully geared up, walking through a sea of red and white, yet I had no idea where to go. I remembered when Dad taught me to write, he said.
The character you mean's a place to stay. Dad hopes that Ethan will always have a home.
He gave me such a good name, yet I didn't even have a place to stay. I shook my head with a bitter smile. When I checked into the D Hotel, the receptionist gave me a long look but maintained professional decorum and said nothing. Big hotels are indeed different from small inns. Except for that night's surveillance failure, the D Hotel had the best security in the city. Neither fans nor media could get in without a room card. Thanks to Adrian's 50,000, I at least had a quiet place to spend the new year. I couldn't help but feel a bit sarcastic thinking about it.
Let's get through the new year first. After the new year, the court session would begin. By then, things should get better, right?
I sighed deeply, walking alone with that faint glimmer of hope. But perhaps that glimmer was too weak, extinguishing just like that. At noon on New Year's Eve, I saw the school's official statement posted at 9:40 in the morning.
After discussion by the academic office, Ethan's guaranteed admission to graduate school is cancelled.
The comment section was half cheering, half dissatisfied that I wasn't expelled. I gripped my phone tightly, the force causing some pain.
Again and again. Gained and lost, lost and gained. In the end, I had nothing.
I laughed softly, crying as I laughed, looking like a haggard madwoman in the mirror. At night, I heard the sound of firecrackers in the distance. Looking down from a high place, the whole city was brightly lit. I stood on the rooftop for a long time, scrolling through my contacts over and over, finally deciding to make my last call to Mom. Nurse Fong should be quite happy now. I didn't want to disturb her.
Beep, beep.
The call was quickly hung up. It seemed Mom didn't want to be disturbed by me either. I smiled and decided to call Adrian instead.
It's New Year's Eve. I didn't want them to be too comfortable.
The call was answered after a long wait.
Don't worry, I'm not recording.
Where are you?
Didn't you guys give my address to the media? Where do you think I am?
Ethan. I know you're angry with me, but we didn't take those photos. I'm trying to find a way.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Ethan, you'll understand someday. Some things can't be forced. The grievances you've suffered, the family will make it up to you. You can always go back to school. The internet has no memory. If you want, I can send you abroad. It won't be long before no one remembers this.
Listening to his promises of the future felt absurd. He was one of the people who had personally cut off my future.
This time, we wronged you, but we're family. There's no need to ruin Elena.
Family? Do you remember the basketball I gave you during my first summer break in college?
He didn't respond, probably because he didn't remember.
That basketball was bought with a year's worth of part-time wages and scholarships. I also bought a set of skincare products for Mom. She didn't even look at the skincare products before throwing them in the trash, and you gave the basketball to Elena the next day, telling me that giving it to you or Elena was the same. From that moment on, we were no longer family. You and Elena are the people I hate the most.
Ethan!
His words were drowned out by the wind, and I didn't want to listen anymore. I casually threw my phone aside, letting it shatter. As my body plummeted, my mind seemed to think of many things, yet nothing at all. I just felt that tonight's wind was so cold, colder than that snowy night. The end. So I mimicked my sister, hugging Mom's leg tightly.
What are you doing? Let go, I can't walk.
Later, I asked Dad and Mom why they didn't hold me. Dad said it was because Mom wasn't strong enough.
Your mom isn't strong enough.
I believed him, and for a long time, I didn't eat the snacks given out by the kindergarten teacher. Just so Mom could lift me up.